Phuket Island is amazing, but one of the most beautiful, interesting and memorable experiences you can find here. Today we will tell you about 5 unique things that you can see in Phuket. Firstly, it's the purest azure sea. No matter how long you look at the sea, you will never get bored. It is always different, new, unprecedented. Beaches of the Andaman Sea in Phuket, a real paradise for vacationers. They are long and flat with soft sand and crowned with large coconut palms. The entrance to the sea is usually also sandy, but on some beaches there are also corals. Almost on all of the beaches the water is crystal clear and steadily warm all the year round. Its temperature is around 28 to 30 degrees. In addition to beach vacationers, there are always lovers of snorkeling, yachting, surfing and diving. If you want to relax from the beaches and get to know the island's history, Phuket town is the best place to do it. Many do not even suspect what a treasure trove can be found strolling not along the beach, but along the narrow streets of Phuket town. Phuket town is the capital of the province of Phuket and has a population of about 80,000 people. The city was founded in the middle of the 19th century as a shopping center for the local mining industry. The island of Phuket is literally dotted with a huge number of lakes. This phenomenon has one interesting explanation. Earlier in Phuket, in huge quantities extracted tin. As industry developed, Phuket quickly grew and became the island's most important city. Phuket town is conditionally divided into old and new city. Conditionally because there are no pointers and strict boundaries, where one ends and another one begins. More than 100 years ago, Phuket town was the haven of broken tin mines, which was famous for the island of Phuket. Thousands of workers from China came to the island for work to extract tin. They settled in Phuket town and brought their families here, gradually displacing the sea gypsies from the town. The age of many buildings on the old part of Phuket town is more than 100 years old. The architecture of buildings in Take Old Part City Phuket is usually described as Sino-Portuguese. It is a mixture of the Chinese and European influences. The age of some buildings in the old part of Phuket town is more than 100 years. The architecture in the old part of the city of Phuket is usually described as Sino-Portuguese architectural style. It is a mixture of Chinese and European influences. The buildings here mostly have 3 or 4 floors and a shop or cafe on the first floor. Almost all buildings are very narrow. They can have a width of only 5 meters, but at the same time have a length of about 50 meters. Why is that? It's simple. Previously, property tax depended on the size of the facade, so people built in length, not the width. This city really has its own unique character and can offer many places that are worth a visit. No one can tell better about the history of the island than the ancient houses in the center of Phuket town. After all, each mansion of the old city still keeps memories of people who once lived in it. One of such buildings is House Museum of the Tin Baron Chin Pracha, a fine example of the Chinese colonial architectural style. At the end of the 19th century, the Chinese Chin Pracha came to Phuket in search of wealth. Hard work and business acumen enabled him to fulfill his dream. Until now, this family is considered one of the richest in the province. They own ancient houses, several types of production. In memory of their ancestors and their merits, the descendants of Chin Pracha created a museum. One floor of the old house completely recreates the life of the richest people of the past. Bedrooms, kitchen, patio. The current owner managed to keep this significant old building in good condition, including Italian tiles on the floor, real antique furniture brought from Europe and China, and a lot of old photos. The current owner managed to keep this magnificent old building in good condition, including Italian tiles on the floor, real antique furniture brought from Europe and China, and a lot of old photos. The most interesting part of the house is a patio in the open air. In the yard there was usually a well, and this was a place where women gathered, talked, cooked or washed dishes. Such a courtyard was the heart of any house in a semi-colonial style. It also served as the light of the whole building, allowing the air to freely walk around the house, which cooled the place even in the hottest month. In a large kitchen, everything is exactly as it was dozens of years ago. Old stoves, pottery, copper frying pans, kettles and kerosene lamps. House Ban Praj was filmed in many Thai and Western films. He appeared, for example, in the films Paradise on Earth and the series of Indiana Jones. The Naka Ket mountain is one of the highest in Phuket, and it is the basement for Big Buddha statue. A huge white statue of the Big Buddha rises on the top of the Mount Naka Ket at an altitude of about 400 meters above the sea level. Almost every tourist who comes to the island wants to visit the Big Buddha, that would not only look at the Buddhist shrines and enjoy the beautiful views of Phuket from the observation platforms on the top of the mountain, but also gets the monk's blessing and tie the rope for luck. The construction of the Great Buddha Temple began in May 2002 and continues to this day. Like most temples in Thailand, this project is created solely for the donations of parishioners. You too can contribute to the construction of the temple to buy a marble slab, write a wish on it, and then the statue of the Buddha is decorated with a tile, of course by wish inward. The exact date of completion of the construction is not defined. On the lower level of the temple, you can see the magic gong. Such gongs are popular in some temples. Your hand stroking can make him sing. Thais say that only a person with a pure heart and thoughts are capable of this. At the entrance to the premises, you will see a small museum, where the construction's photos hang. In the depth of the temple, you can see the monks sitting on the dais. They can bless you and tie ropes at your hand at random. Also in the temple you can make a ritual, make a wish and throw 37 coins into the bowls. Travelers who visited the temple of the Big Buddha confirm that this place is not just entertainment but something more. Here you can go deep inside yourself and get answers to many pressing questions. And of course admire the beauties of the local nature and get a sea of positive impressions. Perhaps one of the most shocking and incredible holidays in Thailand is the Vegetarian Festival, better known as the Festival of the Nine Emperors. It is in Phuket the most spectacular celebrate this day. A fascinating action attracts thousands of tourists from all over the world who want to watch the participants who decorate themselves with a variety of piercings. For the first time the festival was held in the distant 1825. On the island then lived the Chinese community, whose members suddenly fell ill with a deadly disease. It could be a malaria or a plague, characteristic of these latitudes. The Chinese reasoned that the disease was sent to them by the gods in retaliation for insufficient sacrifices and sins. Repentant residents sang prayers dedicated to the goddess Rue while observing a strict vegetarian diet. But the apogee of the strangeness of the event reached when local young people began to torture themselves, piercing various areas of the body. This, according to the assurances of the priests of the cult, testified to the fortitude of the spirit and sincere repentance. To the surprise of the chroniclers, the patients began to recover. As a result, the Chinese community got rid of the deadly disease. The news of miraculous healing flew around the kingdom in the shortest possible time, and since those glorious days, the island celebrates the holiday every year, the Gilling Spirits. The vegetarian festival lasts 7 days, in each of which there are processions beginning in the early morning and ending with dinner. These days, along the streets, staggering like in trance, dozens of mass songs move. They are the central figures of the whole holiday, which for the time being become mediums and shamans. During the movement, they pierce the cheeks with the bamboo sticks, swords, spears, and other sharp objects. It is believed that hurting themselves, they dare all the evil from the island. Thais, such a sight does not frighten. They are grateful to mass songs for doing all they can to clean the island of sorrows and spiritual problems. Mass songs claim that the support of the gods protect them from pain and damage. The vegetarian festival in Thailand is definitely not for the faint of heart. Therefore, if you are not ready to observe the traditional rituals that take place on this day, it is better to refuse to visit them. I hope today we succeeded in surprising you and persuading you to come to our beautiful island to see all of its uniqueness and versatility. Search us in YouTube by using our hashtag PhuketBuyHouseTV, and don't forget to like our content.
Always in trouble, need love on the double, spend cake in a lifetime, climbing to the level contract with the